103,000 American jobs just got erased, and the Bureau of Labor Statistics is holding the eraser. On August 7th, the BLS didn't just report that employers cut 23,000 jobs in July. They went back and rewrote history, revising May and June down by a combined 103,000 jobs. Jobs we were told existed, jobs that were never really there. That's why we're telling you they just erased 103,000 jobs. And folks, housing takes the hit first. Bill Adams, chief U.S. economist at Fifth Third Bank, says the unemployment rate is now falling, mostly for the wrong reason, not enough workers. Think about that. So in this video, number one, we're going to show you the one Federal Reserve chart proving 2,345,000 full-time jobs have vanished since January 2025. And the only other decade this happened, we all remember how it ended. And number two, we're going to give you the exact three-step playbook serious buyers are using right now to force desperate sellers to the table, with free tools you already have. Stick with us. So let's open the actual report, because the deeper you go, the worse this gets. On August 7th, the Bureau of Labor Statistics released the July Employment Situation Report. Economists expected roughly 95,000 jobs added. Instead, payrolls fell by 23,000, the first negative month since February. But the revisions are the real story here. May was originally reported as 129,000 jobs added. The BLS now says it was 63,000. June was originally 57,000. Now it's 20,000. That's 103,000 jobs that existed in the headlines, in the market rallies, in the Fed's thinking, and then didn't. And we want to be straight with you about what a revision actually is, because that's what this channel does. The BLS surveys about 119,000 businesses and agencies every month, and the first print is always preliminary. As more complete payroll data arrives, they correct the number. So no, 103,000 people didn't get a pink slip in a single afternoon. It's arguably worse than that. The hiring strength we were told about this spring was never really there. And after those corrections, the average monthly job gain over the past 12 months is now just 34,000. Let that sink in. Now here's where it gets stranger. The unemployment rate actually fell in July from 4.2 to 4.1%. Sounds like good news, right? It's not. The rate fell because 264,000 Americans left the labor force entirely. They stopped looking, so they stopped being counted. Labor force participation dropped to 61.4%, the lowest reading in more than 5 years. And workers on temporary layoff jumped by 153,000 to 921,000. That's what Bill Adams meant by the wrong reason. The denominator is shrinking. And this is exactly why housing feels it first, because housing in America runs on two things: a paycheck and a mortgage. According to the NAR's July existing home sales report, 26% of buyers paid all cash, which means roughly 74% of every home sold in this country needs a lender to say yes. And lenders say yes based on income. So watch what's happening to income. Average hourly earnings rose 2 cents in July to $37.62. That's 3.2% growth year over year, the weakest since May 2021. Meanwhile, the Consumer Price Index came in at 3.4%. Do the math. Wages up 3.2%, prices up 3.4%. The BLS says real average hourly earnings actually fell 0.1% in July. Heather Long, chief economist at Navy Federal Credit Union, put it plainly. Inflation has been wiping out wage gains for the past 4 months. Now, stack the mortgage on top of that paycheck. The median existing home costs $434,100 per the NAR. Put 20% down at Freddie Mac's current 6.65% rate, and you're financing $347,280. That's $2,229 a month in principal and interest before taxes and insurance. Redfin calculates you now need $109,796 in income to afford the median American home. The actual median household income is about $87,599. That's a gap of $22,197. And that gap was already brutal when paychecks were growing. Now, the paychecks are stalling too. Which brings me to the chart I promised you. The one chart from the Federal Reserve's own Fred database that should be on the front page of every newspaper in America. It's BLS series LNS 1250000. The number of Americans employed full-time. In January 2025, that number peaked at 135,898,000, an all-time high. As of July 2026, it's 133,553,000. That's 2,345,000 full-time jobs gone in 18 months. Not gig work, full-time. Benefits, 40 hours a week jobs. And to be fully transparent with you, full-time employment is still about 2,681,000 above February 2020. But the direction has completely reversed. Here's why this chart keeps us up at night. Pull it back 40 years. In the 80s, America added 14.6 million full-time jobs. The 90s, 12.7 million. The 2010s, 21.1 million. Every modern decade of expansion grew full-time work, except one, the 2000s. That decade, the U.S. lost a net 2.6 million full-time jobs, the only decade in the entire series with a net decline. And we all remember how that decade ended. The great financial crisis and the worst housing crash in American history. Now, I'm not telling you 2008 is around the corner. Credit quality, equity cushions, and foreclosure levels are all very different today. And we'll show you that data in a minute. What we're telling you is that the last time this country stopped creating full-time jobs, housing was the first thing to break. And here's the really alarming part. While full-time work shrinks, the number of Americans holding multiple jobs has climbed to 8,693,000, 5.4% of all workers, and rising. People aren't trading full-time work for freedom. They're patching incomes together. Real quick, if this market intel is helping you make better decisions, hit the notification bell. We drop new housing data every week, and the viewers who catch it first get the best opportunities. The bell ensures you see everything immediately, not days later when the market's already moved. Now, let me show you the hit landing in real time. Freddie Mac's 30-year fixed sits at 6.65% as of August 20th. Down 2 straight weeks, but stuck in the same 6 to 7% band. It's occupied for over a year. The Mortgage Bankers Association says purchase applications fell another 2% in the last week and are down 3% from a year ago. And a year ago was already weak. MBA Deputy Chief Economist Joel Kahn says affordability problems have re-emerged as a reason for some home buyers to delay purchase decisions. The NAR reports existing home sales running at 4.06 million annual pace in July, down 1.7% from June, hovering near the weakest levels in roughly 3 decades. And sellers are blinking fast. Realtor.com's July report shows 20% of active listings, 1 in every 5 homes for sale in America, took a price reduction. And the national median list price is down 2.4% year over year, the 9th consecutive month of declines. But the most shocking number comes from Redfin. In July, there were just 966,752 active home buyers in the entire United States. That's the lowest number ever recorded. Sellers? 1,462,921. That's 51.3% more sellers than buyers. Redfin senior economist Assad Khan says buyers are dropping out faster than sellers, giving the buyers who remain more options and more negotiating power. And you can watch this exact chain reaction. Jobs to housing playing out in one city right now, Nashville, Tennessee. Redfin ranks Nashville the number 2 buyer's market in America, behind only Miami, with 151% more sellers than buyers. The typical Nashville home now takes 78 days to go under contract versus 49 nationally. Greater Nashville Realtors data shows active inventory around 11,823 homes, the highest in over a decade. Zillow's Home Value Index for Nashville is down 3% year over year to $434,068. And on August 5th, the jobs side of this equation showed up on paper. TikTok filed a warn notice with the state of Tennessee to permanently close its Music Row office on October 5th. 250 employees laid off. That's the sequence. Employer cuts, fewer qualified buyers, inventory piles up, prices roll over. And the S&P Cotality Case-Shiller Index, Cotality, formerly CoreLogic, shows the same pattern spreading across the pandemic boomtowns. Vegas down 1.9%, Seattle down 1.8%, Denver down 1.8%, Tampa down 1.6%, while Chicago is still up 6.9%. This is not one national housing market anymore. It's two completely different countries on one map. So now let me hand you the playbook I promised. The three-step system serious buyers are using to find motivated sellers with nothing but free tools. Step 1. Find the true time on market. Here's what the portals don't advertise. When a seller delists a home and relists it, the days on market counter resets to 0. The house looks fresh. It isn't, but the receipts are public. On Zillow, Redfin, or Realtor.com, open the price history tab on any listing and you'll see the original list date and every relist. With the national median at 57 days on market, a home that's genuinely been sitting 4, 5, 6 months belongs to a seller running out of options. Step 2. Count the price cuts. One cut can be a strategy. 2 or 3 cuts in a few months is a message. With 20% of the national market already reducing, sellers who've cut multiple times are telling you exactly how motivated they are. You just have to read the history. Step 3. Confirm the pressure in the whole market, not just the house. Pull up the Redfin Data Center, Zillow Research, or Realtor.com's monthly reports, all free, and check your metro. Is inventory elevated? Do sellers outnumber buyers? Are values negative year over year, like Nashville's -3%? When all three signals line up, long true market time, multiple cuts, and a falling metro, you're not being aggressive by offering below list. You're being accurate. Now, let me give you the other side because you deserve the strongest counter argument, not a straw man. Logan Matashami, lead analyst at HousingWire, argues there's a wall of pent-up demand. We still have over 162 million people working, he says, and if rates head toward 5%, buyers come flooding back. He's also right about the lock-in effect. FHFA research found low pandemic-era mortgage rates prevented about 1.33 million home sales from mid-2020 through 2023, meaning millions of owners simply won't be forced to sell. NAR chief economist Lawrence Yun calls sales remarkably stable. And honestly, those cushions are real. They're the reason this looks like a slow grind instead of a 2008-style collapse. But here's our take, and we'll defend it with the receipts I just showed you. The 4.1% unemployment rate is the most misleading statistic in America right now. It's falling because workers are disappearing, not because jobs are appearing. That's straight from the BLS's own participation data and Fifth Third's chief economist. And while everyone stares at that reassuring 4.1%, Adam reports 227,548 U.S. properties received foreclosure filings in the first half of 2026, up 21% from a year ago, with foreclosure starts up 18%. The writing is on the wall. The labor market cracked first. Housing demand cracked second. And the price cuts spreading through Nashville, Tampa, Denver, and Seattle are what that transmission looks like in real time. So what do you do with all of this? If you're a seller, especially in a Sunbelt or Western metro, price it right in the first week because the data says waiting is expensive. 1 in 5 of your competitors has already cut. Buyers are at a record low, and every extra month on that history tab hands your eventual buyer more leverage. If you're a buyer, this is the strongest negotiating position you've had in years. But only if your own job is secure and your numbers are honest. Run the 3-step playbook, know your metro, and remember that $22,197 affordability gap closes through price, not through hope. The moves you make over the next 12 months could save you tens of thousands of dollars. And if you're a homeowner or an investor, watch your local job market closely. One warn notice, like TikToks in Nashville, tells you more about your equity's next 12 months than any national headline. If you're in a metro like Chicago that's still gaining, your math is completely different from a metro that's rolling over. Know which one you're in. Bookmark this video. Come back in 6 months and check every number we just showed you. That 2,345,000 full-time jobs, the 966,752 buyers, the 21% jump in foreclosure filings. That's how confident we are in this data, because it isn't our data, it's the BLS, the Federal Reserve, Redfin, and Adam. Subscribe and hit the notification bell so the next video lands in your feed the moment it drops, and watch this one next. We'll see you next time.